For my grayscale, I've decided to look at something that is taught as an important lesson in first year seminar, but in my opinion is a bad one. This is the idea that you should not ask people where they are from or about their accent if they have one, because it can be considered offensive. Being someone that is from an immigrant family and someone who wants to be a journalist, I see this as an important issue for me, and also I have made a lot of friends and had a lot of great conversations throughout my life by doing just that. Let me preface any of my arguments by saying this question is only beneficial, the question about someone's nationality or ethnicity, if you can first pick up on the context clues and read the room around you. Asking someone questions like that randomly, especially if it's only based on the color of their skin or other physical factors, is wrong and will lead to most people being offended. However, if you first read the room around you and base your questions on more distinctive details, people will usually be impressed or happy that you noticed. For example, after I came back from Tanzania, I was in an Uber and saw that the driver had a Burundi flag, a country that bordered Tanzania. I asked about it, and the driver was really happy to answer all my questions and to talk about it. So, asking the question in the right context is very important. The first counterpoint I found to my argument was an article titled, "What's Wrong with Asking, Where Are You From the Harvard Business Review. The article dives into the topic of alienation and how the question of where someone is from can lead to people feeling like they are being pushed away or shunned for being different. The most important quote from the article to me said, "For those of us who already feel different in a given space, being asked where we're from carries implicit assumptions about our race, caste, ethnicity, nationality, etc. Often it translates into, you don't seem to belong here."
Like I mentioned before, if you ask the questions in the right situation, it will always lead to more conversation. As someone who is trying to be a journalist, I see conversation as one of the most important things in every person's life. Most people in America probably wouldn't even be able to point out Canada on a map. Promoting the idea that people should have less conversations, especially about other people's cultures and nationalities, is very harmful.
Even though I would love to talk to people about their ethnicity, nationality, etc., I also understand that sometimes even asking the quote unquote correct questions may make people uncomfortable, and some people might not want to talk about it at all. This is one of the main things that first year seminar taught that I agree with heavily, as continuing to ask such questions after getting a negative or uncomfortable response is always a recipe for making people feel even worse about themselves. Many people can attest to this feeling, since I know almost everyone has experienced what felt like interrogations from friends and family on topics they did not want to talk about. So I've gotten through this whole presentation so far without boring you with any numbers and statistics. So that being said, here are some numbers and statistics about how uneducated Americans are on the world around us. I found a study by the Pew Research Center which showed many surprising and unexpected results. What the study further showed, which I did not think about before, was the biased views that Americans had on the world, which were probably shaped by the media and the education system. For example, almost 80% of the people interviewed could identify the famous media personality Kim Jong-un, while less than 50% could identify which country the flag of India belonged to. Out of the total of 12 questions in the study, the average number of correct responses was 6.3. So why do Americans, who have one of the best education systems in the world and the most free access to information, know so little about others? To wrap up my argument, let's think about the question I just asked. Is it possible that Americans are falling behind in their knowledge of the world due to the pointless lessons which see the world as black and white, whether someone gets offended or not, as opposed to many different colors, understanding that everyone is different and will respond to questions differently, and it is your job to figure out how to interact with each person?